This is the BMC track machine and is the bike of James McDonald. It's in fact the bike he's going to use to try to beat the current record for the fastest time to ride 100 kilometers. Currently, it sits at 2 hours, 19 minutes. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you the bike and some of the cool details all about it. The frame set is the BMC track machine TR01. Being a track frame set, there's no setup or space for any brakes on this bike, and we've got the horizontal dropouts at the back, allowing you to position the wheel correctly to get the chain tension just right. It's manufactured from carbon fiber, it's a size medium, and has got lots of little kicks and flicks and designs all across the frame to try and cheat the wind and reduce the aerodynamic drag as much as possible, along with keeping it extra stiff around the bottom bracket area to deal with the stresses and force that's put through the bike, as James will do his standing start and is trying to get up to speed. Paired up to the frame set are two lenticular disc wheels. These ones are the Mavic version, although they've had their stickers removed. Mounted to the wheels are the Continental Sonda class tubular tyres. These are track specific, and as so, they've got an incredibly thick tread and it's completely slick. These are 23 millimeters wide, and being tubular tyres, they're glued onto the wheels, and it enables James to use an incredibly high pressure. And I believe he's going to have these pumped up to 160 PSI for the event. At the centre of the bike, we have the rotor chain set. This is the 2-in power model, which has dual-sided power measurement. Matched up to the crank are the Look Keo Blade carbon pedals. On the crank itself is this whacking great big 62-tooth carbon chainring, and at the rear of the bike is a 17-tooth sprocket. This is the Aerocoach Atom sprocket, which is coated with that really fancy titanium nitride gold coating. The front chainring is incredibly wide to add the strength that's required for the force that are put through the cranks. The crank arms themselves are 165 millimeters long and are spinning on ceramic speed bearings to try and help reduce any friction around the bottom bracket. Now, talking of ceramic speed, the bike is also fitted with a KMC chain, which is treated with ceramic speed's special coating to try and reduce any drivetrain friction there. And you can see that by that white coating, and looks a bit powdery across the chain. Much of that has already been removed by running the bike on rollers and static in the work stand to get that chain bedded in and in its optimal condition. The wheels also have ceramic speed bearings fitted to try and again reduce every little bit of resistance possible on this bike. And moving up towards the top of the bike, we've got the bi-saddle, which is a completely different saddle to something that I've ever seen before. It's got that split nose design and is adjustable in almost every possible way you could think of. So not only is the seat post got a lot of fore and aft movement on it, as well as the saddle rails themselves, underneath the saddle, the base has got fixed mounting points where you can undo the bolts and position the saddle almost infinitely to get your position sat just right. And as you can see, it's clear how far forwards James has got that, and he's got the nose tilted down very slightly to try and make him as aerodynamic and as comfortable as possible. Moving forwards to the front of the bike, we can see some of the adjustability that is built in with this stem, which is proprietary to the frame set. Now the forks are again designed to be incredibly aerodynamic, and we can see we've got the main section that runs in front of the head tube of the frame, which is quite a different design to what we see most bikes using. The base bar of the bike is just 30 centimeters wide, which is incredibly narrow compared to what we would normally see on a road bike or even a time trial bike. These are made by 3T, as are the spacers here, which give the height that's required for James to get into his optimal aerodynamic position. The extensions themselves are carbon fiber and manufactured by USE. These have got a little bit of grip tape on the ends of them to help hold his hands in position when he's likely going to be getting hot and sweaty, giving his absolute best efforts. At the back of the stem here, we've got a nice plastic molded section, which is to try to smooth the airflow as it's disrupted over the stem and then settle it back in to flow across the rest of the bike. Right on the very top of his handlebars is a Garmin 530 head unit. This is going to be used to display the power that's read from the cranks, as well as a Garmin speed sensor, which is mounted on the non-drive side chainstay. And that's giving him all the information and data that he needs to try and pace his effort and make sure he's on target to beat that world record. As well as having the information displayed on his head unit, It's also going to be beamed across to the main station where a lot of his support staff and helpers are based during the event, because they'll be able to monitor the exact same information that James will have access to. So I've had the GCN tape measure of truth out, and I can confirm the following measurements of James' bike. He has a saddle height of 79.5 centimeters. The nose of his saddle to the armrest in the center is 55.5 centimeters. And then the nose of the saddle to the center and the tip of the skis is 79.5 centimeters. Interesting. Being a track bike, we've got no free hub here, so we can't sound check that. But either way, I'm gonna spin the wheel up and see what it sounds like. It's nice. When taking on a speed record such as this, aerodynamics is the most important characteristic and aspect of the bike to focus on. However, I'm going to weigh it anyway so we know how much this bike weighs. Not bad when you consider all the aero stuff on this bike, 8.5 kilograms.